time, he can roll through the center real free up high and go right by a guy.
This is Rudd's home racetrack. He's always done well here, whether this was a half or a 3/4 mile, but he's gone 16 races here now without leading. Finished 4th here last year.
But this race car they brought here, this is a car that's been so good to this race team. They've done everything with it but win a race. They was leading Phoenix. They was leading Homestead last year. Both races, a lap car got them.
There he is just in front of Mark Martin, and you see how Martin's progression has been coming back up toward the front.
And he won a race here with his eyes taped open. Ricky Rudd did.
1984.
Had a serious crash.
At Daytona in the Busch Clash. Finished 7th a week later in the 500. And then came here to Richmond 1 week later and won in one of the gutsiest couple of week comeback in the history of any sport.
You got it.
72 laps complete. In Richmond, Rusty Wallace leads by now just 1/4 of a second.
Now there's a sedan that makes all other sedans feel inadequate. With an ultra-spacious cabin, sophisticated engineering, a powerful engine, and bold new European design. Introducing the all-new 2001 Elantra from Hyundai. It sets the standard for what a great-looking sedan should be. The all-new Elantra. Driving is believing.
Millions of the world's children suffer from blindness and infection. With biotechnology, we can provide better nutrition to help relieve that suffering.
My crop could soon contain more vitamins and nutrients.
Biotechnology is developing ways to combat childhood diseases and offering the hope of more nutritious harvests. From medicine to agriculture, it's providing solutions to improve lives today and our world tomorrow.
There are many great athletes and personalities that define Canadian sports. Heroes and legends, past and present. From childhood dreams all the way to glory, host Rod Black chronicles the life and times of our nation's best on TSN Profile.
There's nothing like the intensity and emotion of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and there's nothing like Molson That's Hockey to keep you on top of the action.
Hi, I'm Gord Miller, and this is TSN hockey analyst Pierre McGuire. Join us for Molson That's Hockey throughout the NHL playoffs for front row coverage of the chase for the Stanley Cup.
Clutch performers, key matchups, and inside strategy. We've got it covered all the way to the Stanley Cup final.
Molson That's Hockey rolling through the playoffs on TSN.
FX welcomes you back. Saturday night racing next Saturday. It's in the afternoon. The Busch Series on FX, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific. As we enjoy the Pontiac Excitement 400 this evening from Richmond, Virginia. And since lap 4, Rusty Wallace, the king of the short track, has led this race. And with 6 wins here, Jeff, the most among active drivers.
Well, as we were talking about earlier this season, you can't allow Robin Pemberton and this group get some momentum going their way. They won a race last week. They come to another racetrack they're very strong on, and Rusty's out front. He loves this racetrack. He loves racing at night. Got to watch out, guys. He could run away with this thing and really mess the show up.
Now, we've only gone to 80 laps here with just the 1 caution. Is that a little bit surprising to you?
No, not unusual here at Richmond. A lot of times the guys will get started, things get kind of strung out. But as these leaders start catching up with the back markers, these guys are going to start getting back up on the wheel. That's when they're going to start beating and banging, and you got to watch out for possible wrecks. Then guys get to come in, work on their cars, and the race has a tendency to have like a midpoint change. And all of a sudden, you got 5 or 6 cars per fight for the lead, and it can get very interesting and very good here at Richmond. I guarantee you it's going to be wonderful before the end of the race.
And it's all Ford. Rusty Wallace followed by Ricky Rudd and Mark Martin at this point. Mike?
Thanks, Chris. Rusty Wallace, your leader. Ricky Rudd, you see 0.6 of a second back from our Fox tracks. Jeremy Mayfield has gone to the garage, and Mike Skinner has made a pit stop Only 78 laps into this green flag run, Larry.
But he'd win a lap down. Now, that's a gamble on a short track because that caution, it could come out any second. But I think they felt like their car was so bad, already had win a lap down. Let's get some fresh tires. We'll make up some ground. Maybe this thing will cycle through and we'll make up some of this ground that we lost.
Yeah, he's just gambling that he can get in and do what he has to do, and then maybe a caution will fall just right for him to get back in the race. But otherwise, he's in trouble.
The fourth place car is Tony Stewart. He is 2.9 seconds off the lead. Matt?
Mike, Tony Stewart has climbed 3 positions to 4th. Right now he's complaining about he needs to add forward bite when they pit. That's his main concern at the moment. Right now he's just being very patient, knowing we've got over 300 laps still left to run in this 400 lap event.
You know, lack of forward bite, a lot of times that's a result of the car turning really good through the middle, but when he puts his foot on the throttle to come off the corner, the rear tires are not hooking up to the racetrack. He needs them to hook up better when he nails that throttle.
Yeah, and Spencer's in the pit here, and he's coming a little early, too. I think he's got a problem.
Flat tire, we're told. Dick Bergman?
You got it, Mike. It is a flat front tire. Jimmy Spencer just burst out of the radio and said flat left front, and all of his crew jumped to the wall. They are ready to service that race car as soon as it gets here. Terry Spaulding's going to change the fronts. Bill Kerwin from Pennsylvania, 6 years on this crew. He's doing the rear tires. Wayne Jakes, long time the jack band with his team. He's running around the car right now to pick up the left side. It's a 4-tire change under green while everybody is out here racing. Spencer losing laps. 4-tire change.
At 17.4 seconds, good stop, but it's going to cost him on this racetrack at least a lap, maybe 2 by the time he gets back up to speed.
Yeah, and you just sit there and hope as a team and a driver that the caution will not come out now.
Kenny Schrader has stopped, and so has Rick Mast. Rusty Wallace mowing him down. Ricky Rudd staying within 0.8 of a second. Another young gun that's been on the move is Casey Atwood. He's up to 17th after starting in the next to last row.
And Mike, it's things like flat tires and accidents and things that they're unpredictable. You never know when you're going to get bitten by something like that. And you can have an absolutely great car and be taken right out of the race because of something like a flat tire.
One addition that was made to Casey Atwood's team just this past week, Sammy Johns, who was the crew chief for Kenny Schrader last year and the beginning of this year, been walking around the garage area several weeks. They decided to part company with the 36 team a few weeks ago. They hired him this week. It's kind of like a lead mechanic.
Yeah, when there's good people walking around, people with experience, you got to hire them and put them work somewhere. They can't stay unemployed very long.
Well, one thing I was impressed with Sammy, he stayed at the racetrack because it's the old cliche, out of sight, out of mind.
Rusty Wallace, as we watch from Bobby Hamilton, continuing to
hanging on your bumper left car.
Casey's got some experience here. He ran the Winston Cup race here last fall, and also he's run the Busch car here a number of times, so it's a good track for him.
We just crossed lap 91, and what we'll see these leaders do is you break its race down. You run about 110 to 115 laps on tires and fuel, but you kind of like to see it broke down to the 100, 100, 100, 100. 4 100-lap runs. But once one of those leaders commits to pit road, the rest of the leaders will be right with him just because of not giving up a lot of time.
I like to run the race backwards. I like to run the race backwards in my mind as a driver and try to figure out where I'm going to be at the end of the day. So I can tell you as my crew chief, the car is doing this and the track is changing this way and this is what's going on. So every time I come in, you can make changes to my car that's going to make me better and better and better before the night's over with.
Watching Matt Kenseth move up. He moves away from Kyle Petty and closes up on Ricky Craven, who is in 14th place.
Well, these guys have been out there getting 94 laps, and tires have got that's the longest run anybody's had since we've been here all weekend, obviously.
They almost stacked right up there, Darrell, coming out of turn 2. Craven didn't get a good run off the corner underneath Stacy Compton, and that whole bunch there almost accordioned right together.
Yeah, well, you take tire wear, and then the track changes that the track's going to go through with the seal and everything. These cars have been out there long enough now that, the cars are going to start getting a little harder to drive.
Mike Skinner has easily caught that pack. Now he has already been on pit road and gotten fresh tires in his Lowe's number 31.
Oh, tires. They make you Superman.
For a while.
That's right.
Kenseth takes Craven. That's for 14th place.
Got Ward Burton slipping into the pits over here real slow. I'm not sure if he's got a problem or not.
Now here's Spencer.
And that's exactly what Spencer wants to do, is get back in front of the leader, Rusty Wallace, in case a caution should come out. Going to put him back in the race.
Yeah, he was 2 laps down. He just made one of those laps back up.
But when Rusty pits, then he should be back, you know, pretty much in sync. And I got to believe the guys will be pitting here before too long, probably in about the next 10 or 12 laps. Wouldn't you think, Larry?
Yeah, again, I'm going to look at that 100-lap mark, which is only 3 or 4 laps away, and I'm going to say they're going to be on pit road making those adjustments and getting 4 fresh Goodyear tires.
Rusty Wallace leads by 0.8 of a second. Good bit of slipping and sliding and a little slam banging here at Richmond on short track Saturday night. It's the Pontiac Excitement 400, 98 laps complete here on FX.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Susan.
I've been out of the country 2 years, and I want to buy another Saturn for when I get home. Bill, what are you doing here?
I came to bring you a new Saturn.
Really?
Yeah. Can I take it back for you?
Sure.
This way.
Hey, let's show more road. We're gonna get some Asiago cheese.
Scusi?
All right then, next stop, Scusi. Chop chop, fasto.
Subway introduces 2 new fresh-baked gourmet breads. Delicious Asiago cheese with real Asiago cheese baked on top. And deep country wheat with rolled oats, poppy seeds, and more. 2 new gourmet breads at Subway.
Subway. Eat fresh. I've come around, guys. I think I'm doing better.
John, you're doing a little better, but the Hawks aren't even in the playoffs. Playoffs? What? See, you got to get with the program. We're with the program. You need some Bob. Bob. Let Bob help you. Bob? Mackenzie.
One game at a time.
Yes!
Bob.
Need help with the playoffs? Bob McKenzie, your hockey playoff insider.
Go Flames!
Can you use $10,000? Then you're ready to be a drifter. Join OLN as we launch a national search for 12 lucky Canadians ready to compete in an adventure race of a lifetime. Send us a 3 to 5 minute VHS showing Canada you've got what it takes to be a drifter. Selected finalists will be invited to boot camp in Toronto to meet the producers and face the elements. Visit facetheelements.com for all contest rules and regulations. Outdoor Life Network. Adventurers wanted.
Join TSN's Rod Smith on Canada's #1 source for sports news and information. Sports Desk, weeknights on TSN.
Glad to have you with us on FX for the Pontiac Excitement 400. Quarter distance complete, 104 of 400 laps. A lot of green flag pit stops. Andy Houston's been in, Ricky Craven, Johnny Benson coming in, Elliott Sadler going out. All these green flag pit stops as we've had only 1 caution this evening, and that way back on lap 6 when Kyle Petty and Brett Bodine got together. Only 1 car out of the race, Jeremy Mayfield.
And now when you're making these stops is when you just sit there and hold your breath and hope everybody cycles through, because as much as some of these guys would like to see a caution,